everyone.
Hi.
Is it okay if I don't use a microphone, or would you like me to use a microphone?
What did you say?
I think I'm good at projecting, but
No.
if at any point that you can't hear me, just let me know. So I am Meghan Ross. I am one of the music therapists at Oak Knoll. Back here in the back row is one of my current interns. This is Hannah. So I have waving at you right here. So I associate with the University of Iowa to help the students complete their music therapy internships, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well today. So a little bit about me. I received my undergrad and my master's at the University of Iowa, and I did my music therapy internship at the hospitals and clinics here in Iowa City. And I worked for a contracting music therapy company before I came to Oak Knoll. And I worked in hospice care with older adults with dementia, with children with learning disabilities and autism during my time there. And then this position at Oak Knoll was being created, and it happened sort of right place, right time. And I started the program there 7 years ago this July. So it's amazing, it's gone incredibly fast, and I can't believe it's already been that long. And we have another music therapist as well. This is Emmy. She was one of my first interns, and a few years ago we created a part-time position for her. So she is there as well, and I'll talk a little bit about her role at Oak Knoll. And if you have any questions at all, just stop me in the middle. So an overview of the places that I serve. I'm really lucky I get to go everywhere. So I spend a lot of my time in the health center and the loft. I also go to the short stay unit, assisted living, and I am in independent living as well. And I really appreciate that part of my position because I get to follow a lot of people through their transitions. And I get to know them at the independent level, and then I can continue that connection if anyone needs to move to assisted living or the health center or the loft. In the health center, I lead 2 large groups a week. I lead a small group, I lead Drums Alive, and I do one-to-one visits with our residents in the health center. And in the health center, music is such a great way of just overall enhancing your quality of life, but there's a really big social component to it. It helps with emotional expression, it helps with reminiscence, it helps with agitation and anxiety, and as well as with some physical goals. And we do a lot of that with this Drums Alive, and that's a picture there back when we had to wear masks in the health center. And the Drums Alive, it's with these big exercise balls, and it's a drumming exercise class. It's really fun, and hopefully it's something that we can bring to the independent level soon. Laura and I are working on that a little bit. And with one-to-one visits, that's mostly what I do in the short stay unit. And as you know, the short stay can sort of be a revolving door. But if there's someone who's down there for a long time, I might go down for some psychosocial support in the short stay. And at times people are in the short stay unit because it's hospice or end of life. And I also do a lot of services related to that. I do 2 groups a week in the loft, and those are usually in the afternoon because our residents in the loft living with dementia, in the afternoon is when they might have more agitation, more anxiety. We call that sundowning, when there's a little bit more confusion. So having those 2 groups a week to bring everyone together and do a lot of mood management can be really helpful. I also do a lot of one-to-ones in the loft and have a really great relationship with our loft coordinator who will call or text me if there's any time that there's someone who might benefit from music therapy. I also incorporate family visits, and that could be anywhere in Oak Knoll, but it happens a lot in the loft and it happens a lot in the health center. So trying to involve a spouse or someone's child or brother or sister in the music therapy session could be really special because, especially people living with dementia, music can bring back a lot of old, parts of their personality that you might not see as much anymore because of the dementia. It can bring back memories. It can bring back just parts of themselves that you might not see as much anymore. And that can be really special to have a family member there, and I can be there to be the facilitator and be the person who can help with that connection between those two individuals. I'm also in assisted living a few times a week, as are my interns. We do Drums Alive in assisted living. Weatherall knows all about that. And we do one music therapy group every week, and then we do a community sing in assisted living. And the community sing is led by my interns, and it was originally created as a way for my interns to build up their repertoire. They had to pick 10 songs a week, bring them to assisted living, and lead a sing-along. But it's become so much more, which is really great. We have Ray is one of our independent residents who comes to it almost every week. We have a few other independent residents. We have a few people from the health center who come, and it's a bunch of people gathering in Oakland community, making music together in a really relaxed way, which is, it's really neat to see everyone gathering in our oldest and farthest away part of the main campus and to make music together. I'm gonna grab my water here real quick. And then I'll talk a little bit about the services I have for independent living. This is a picture of my most current guitar group here. And the woman here in the middle, this is Marcia. She was in my very first guitar groups, and she's still taking lessons with me almost 6 years later, which is amazing. And then my current guitar group, which Carl, you're a part of that, we've been meeting for 2 years, I think. Almost 2 years. So we have a really nice group, and so the guitar group is a free service that I offer because it's a group situation. You come in and you kind of get what you get with the guitar group. But we also, I'll talk about this in just a minute with Emmy. She offers private lessons for guitar. But you guys have done some pretty awesome things in that guitar group. I recently nudged them to do a performance for the health center. One of the stipulations with the guitar group was that they wouldn't perform, but I have a way of convincing people otherwise. And we've done different recordings and things like that, so we do always have something to work towards. And just whether they all know it, whether you all know it, learning an instrument at a later age is a really wonderful skill. Even if you don't get to the point where you want to perform in front of people, just that act and that practice of learning something new, getting your brain to do something different, as well as with your fingers. I've had people talk about how their hands feel better the more they're playing the piano, the more they're playing the guitar, because you're using them more in a different way. It's good for you. And so Emmy teaches, she's our part-time music therapist, and her role is all individual private lessons and sessions. So she teaches guitar lessons, piano lessons, ukulele. We just bought 2 nice new steel drums, so those nice Caribbean sounding steel pan drums that we're teaching lessons on. She could teach voice lessons. She used to play the saxophone, so if someone had a saxophone, she could teach you saxophone lessons. She is ready to teach or help with any instrument that you might be interested in learning. She's game for it. She also offers music therapy sessions. So I mentioned that I do one-to-ones in the health center and the loft, but we have a few residents who could benefit from a one-to-one session absolutely every single day. And unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to see someone 5 days a week for a one-to-one. So our families have the ability to have a one-to-one session, same time, same place every week with Emmy on top of the services that I'm providing already. And with Emmy, because she is twice a week, there is a cost for her sessions, And that is because that is the way we are getting her here and through the door. And we also received a donation from a family that allows her to use extra time to go see people in the health center and the loft for extra one-to-ones as well. So if any of you are interested in learning any instruments, I can give you her contact information. And then I have the Oak Notes Choir, which was actually started before I was at Oak Knoll. One of the recreation aides had a master's in choral conducting. Her name was Emily. And so she started the choir, and Ray, I think you were an original, right? Carl, were you too? What was the original number? It was
7.
7. So 7 people were in the original Oak Notes. And then I think you were all pretty shocked by just the turnout for your first concert, right? And then it grew and it grew, and now we have over 50 members in the choir, which is pretty amazing, I think. The choir meets on Fridays at 1:30, and we try to do 3 concerts a year. Our next concert is coming up in August. It's going to be on August 17th, and we're doing songs about water. So hopefully we'll see all of you there at the Oak Notes concert. The Oak Notes actually were asked to come perform at a conference in November in Chicago. So we're a part of an aging community services. It's called Leading Age, and their national conference is in Chicago this year, and we're going to be a part of the keynote performance on the first day. So the Oak Notes will perform 2 songs, possibly 3, and we're going to figure out how to get 40 of our residents to Chicago and back in one piece. So that's a very exciting endeavor that we're working on right now. So we always take new members for the Oak Notes as well. I'm always here to promote that. And I mentioned my interns, and it might be kind of hard to see here, but hopefully some of those people up on the screen are familiar neighbors of yours. But the gentleman in the middle, Garrett, his last week is actually next week. But all of my interns have an intern-led group, and Garrett chose to come over here because there were a few East residents who talked about wanting to have a music group to play together. And I think if any of you were there a couple weeks ago, they performed down in Scotty's and played some music. And so my interns are here for 6 months. It's a long internship, but it's great because they become a part of the community and really just become like the third music therapist we have running around, which is really nice. Right now, Garrett is leading a group for a bunch of children at a butterfly camp that Oak Knoll is leading for some kids this summer. And they are such an asset to the community. They do these intern-led groups. In the past, we've had a tone chime choir. We've had a theory group where they taught you music theory. We've had a dance class. We've had a world music class. We've had a women in rock and roll class. So we've just had all these different ideas. And so if any of you have any things that you are really interested in or really passionate about, a lot of times those are really great short-term projects for my interns to work on too, which is really fun. They do pub nights over at Mixers, so they prepare a performance for everyone, and those have always gone over really well. They provide just increased support for our residents, and it's a great connection between the University of Iowa, their music therapy program, and Oak Knoll, because as we know, we have a lot of our baby boomers are starting to age, and a lot of the music therapy jobs that are out there are going to be working with older adults. So this is a really great asset for them, as well as having their students come over is a great asset for us too. All right. Usually I feel like I talk a lot more, but that went pretty fast. Are there any questions or thoughts or?
Is there class credit for the internship?
Yes, so in order to graduate, they have to complete the 6-month internship, and then after they complete their internship, they take a board certification exam, and And once they have that, they get to write MTBC after their names for music therapist board certified, and they can go out to the world. So, yeah. Yes?
Are you going to bring any of those programs over here?
So, any in particular that are of interest to you? Okay. So right now, I don't have any plans to bring anything over to East unless a lot of people express interest in something that that you would want to participate in, mostly just because of being on the main campus and having such a full schedule. If there were people who were interested in a singing group or a drumming class or something, I think we could try to figure out a way to have that here. It's just hard not knowing what people might be interested in or what they want to be a part of. But I am hoping that if people do have things that you're interested in and want to be a part of, you would let me know so that we could try to figure out ways to have more of that here at the East Campus.
We do have some people from East that aren't part of the Oak Notes
Yes.
because it requires a large facility and the instrument to support it, so.
Yes, and with the Oak Notes too, it'd be fun to have an East set, but I just don't think we would have enough people that would join, and it'd be hard to have a 5-person or 6-person choir, if, unless we could get a bigger group together. Yeah.
But they could come over.
Oh, absolutely. Any of these things, you are welcome to join. I have also, with Emmy's position, we're always learning and growing it. And so if there was a lesson or an instrument that you were interested in learning, for example, you wanted to take piano lessons, she comes in from the West Branch area, so if it was at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, she might be able to schedule a lesson there if you wanted her to come. But for now, she has 1 or 2 East people taking lessons. They are coming to her just because of the time of day and her availability. Anything else? Okay. Yes, right?
You remember when we did singing telegrams
I do.
or singing valentines?
Yeah.
You can take that anywhere.
We could. We could do singing telegrams, if any of you are interested in that.
Well, Ray and I, as consumers, can tell you that these are some really good resources that you ought to be figuring out a way to take advantage of, because it is amazing.
And I think Oak Knoll is different in the sense that a lot of places don't have a full-time music therapist, let alone 1.5, especially in Iowa. So being able to be fully immersed in this community is really special. My first job where it was contracting, I popped in once a week, once every other week to lead a group in a community that I never really got to know the people I was working with, and I never really got to know the staff. And here I really feel a part of the entire community, which is really special, and I think I serve all of you better because I have the chance to get to know you. And I think it's something that hopefully will continue to happen in aging communities. I know budget and all of that is everyone's biggest problem, but I think it's important, and I think Oak Knoll saw that, and I feel very lucky that Oak Knoll sees the value in it. And it's just, music is such a powerful thing, and I'm sure all of you have some kind of connection to music, whether you are a musician or you've enjoyed concerts or dances or even just listening to music on your own. It's just, music is so individualized as well. There's not one size fits all. So I think that is something that I continue to learn with all of you, and having interns as well. They make different connections with residents that I may not have made connections with, and I think there's a real value in that. So, yeah.
And you will never be embarrassed.
And you'll never be embarrassed? That's good. Thank you.
And you fear that.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Music is a vulnerable thing too, because we are so connected to it. So being asked to perform it or play it can feel very vulnerable. but I try to protect all of you and, yeah, make it successful. Thanks, Carl. I brought Ray and Carl today to advocate for the value of music therapy.
And it's a big deal for us to keep our mouths shut.
That too.
The music therapists need to take full credit for introducing us through music to people that we would never otherwise visit with necessarily. So when we sing for people in the memory unit or in the health center, we appreciate them a lot more.
Yeah.
Because we understand their love of music, and they come and sing in the old notes. I mean, those 55 people didn't all come from the bar.
Yeah.
They're from all over the Oklahoma community.
Yep, we do have members of the Oak Notes from all of our levels of care, health center, assisted living, and independent living. And we do have even people who are on the wait list that are a part of the choir, which is really cool to have people coming from the outside who don't even live there yet, who see the value in joining as well.
And having been in the choir for all those years, several times I've seen people in the choir rehearsing with us within weeks of doing that.
That is the hazards of the job here, is a lot of that. Yep.
You say a waiting list. Do you try to keep your choir at 50?
I don't. I'll take as many people as want to join. David Anson's big joke is that one day the Oak Notes are going to be bigger than the audience. I think we've got a while before that's the case. But anyone who wants to join at this time, we have plenty of room, plenty of resources. So I'm not worried about a limit. So.
I think the waiting list had to do with time.
Oh, yes, and the wait list meaning people who are, or we have a different word for it now, don't we, Steve?
I still think of it as waiting.
Okay, or something access members, people, preferred access.
They haven't moved into the facility.
Right, and they're thinking about signing a contract. And so we actually had 2 people join the choir who were on the wait list and just realized that the community was what they wanted to be a part of and signed a contract a few months later. And I think it was very cool that through Oak Notes they saw the value of living at Oak Knoll. So that was cool. Yes?
This is a little bit off topic, but
Okay.
do you have any of your clients or the people you work with, do any of them have speech deficiencies which music therapy could help?
I have had people in the past suffer from aphasia, and they couldn't really get out the words they wanted, but then when the music kicked in, they could sing every word of the song. And so I haven't personally worked with anyone at Oak Knoll trying to regain speech, but we do see that they might speak a little bit more clearly during the session after they've been singing. I've noticed that with people, but I've never worked with a speech therapist to try to help someone, but that is a big part of the music therapy field. One of our news story claim to fame is the Senator Gabby Giffords, who was shot. She lost a lot of her speech, and a music therapist was a huge part of her recovery and learning to speak again. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I had a question.
Yes.
Would it be possible for you to come over here maybe once a week or once a month or whatever, and just have anybody who wanted to come and sing with you?
I think that is something that I would love to discuss. Yeah. And just sort of like an open sing-along type group. Okay. Let me talk about that with some of the staff and see. I don't know if it would be me. I don't know if it would be Emmy. It might be one of my interns. So it might be something that is more sporadic. But I think if there's an interest, I'd love to try to figure out how to make it happen. Okay. Cool. So a good question then would be, what are some of your favorite types of music? Any favorite singers or songs or can make guesses, but a lot of people are eclectic, and I appreciate that.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, okay, awesome. What else?
Our outgoing intern is a big country music fan.
Yep.
You're
Broadway.
Broadway, yes. Okay. What else?
I think there'd be interest in gospel.
Gospel, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think we've had at least one gospel piece in every concert we've given, haven't we?
Just about. Yeah.
There are some old time favorites that people who don't sing well might still enjoy doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of my things is you don't have to be a musician to join in with those kinds of things. Singing just feels good, and it's good for you. Yeah. Good. All right. Any other questions, thoughts, favorite songs? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you coming today. If you need my contact information, please let me know. And I'd be happy to talk more to you about trying to figure out ways to engage our East residents more, if there's anything I can do here, or having you all on the main campus as well. Yes?
I was a little perturbed when I got this brochure, the little piece like that. It showed people doing the music. And I didn't hear from, no, we're just talking about the process.
Oh, you wanted a performance today?
Well, because of that picture.
Oh.
Yeah.
Normally people don't recognize me if I don't have my guitar with me. I think it'd be great to have a performance over here as well. So that's another thing that we can get on the books is getting another performance here.
Didn't we
Everybody.
have an Oak Notes performance over here? Don't I recall?
We did around, I think it was Christmas time, we did a little preview of our Oak Notes concert.
And it was wonderful, I was there.
Yeah, it was a great
It was
turnout.
Absolutely superb.
Thank you. That's another thing that we should do more of, is getting a preview of the Oak Notes concerts over here too. Yeah. Good. All right, and I really would welcome any questions, dialogue, conversations just about how I can better serve all of you. So please let me know if you think of something at 3 a.m. tonight and when you want to email me or whatever, just please don't hesitate to call or reach out.
Does Scotty's host a small group, for instance, if you had a guitar class coming over to perform in Scotty's?
I think we could certainly do
They
that.
probably provide beverages to keep them sober, right?
You have to ask Steve, he's standing back there. Yes. All right. Thank you all, I appreciate